Well, pretty obvious just why we came up on the losing end. You know, I mean, they're bigger, they're stronger, they're older for sure, but we got to be scrappier, we got to be dirtier, we got to be meaner, especially when you're as undermanned as we are. So defensively, did some good things, obviously. You know, I thought getting them to the free throw line was good at the end, but you know that's a big, strong, tough team. So learn from it and just remember, you know, everything, whether it's putting on weight in the weight room or whatever. I mean, all that stuff matters. So just got to get bigger, stronger, and tougher.
Did you guys put enough pressure on them? Did your guards put enough pressure on them for being an undersized team? Don't you got to kind of run them out of the gym a little bit, go at them a little bit more?
I mean, you can't really run if you don't rebound. You know, you're giving up 25 offensive rebounds. I mean, they shot 35%. We're not a great defensive team. Certainly, we want to be more aggressive and active. But it came down to rebounding the ball. And they had 21 points from the foul line, and we only had 5, you know, so hard to win that way, really hard.
Coach, we heard Sebastian and K.J. talk about transition defense today, some of the good things they thought there. As far as transition offense, what do you think's been happening there? Is that, you know, as far as where you'd like to see it, just as, you know, these, especially in these 3 conference games?
Well, we didn't get out on the break much because of the rebounding part of it. You know what I mean? So we need to get certainly better. I think we started to realize, stop shooting mid-range shots versus these giants. Drive in there, get to the rim. You know, so it can certainly improve. I didn't think the offense, besides getting to the free throw line more, was the issue. I think it's pretty simple. When you're giving up that many offensive rebounds, it's too hard. You know, they missed it. You know, they missed 40 shots. So we needed, if we rebounded the ball, we got on the break more.
Sebastian's obviously, again, I know what the rebounding is, and he's the starting center, so I don't want to I don't want to coddle the guy, but like, he is a guy that you've said might have redshirted this year. He went against a very experienced, very skilled big man, and I thought he actually did pretty well today. Would you agree that Sebastian actually played well in the game? You guys got out rebounded by a ton?
Yeah, for sure. I think he's, we brought him in as a down-the-road big. I don't think any of us envisioned he'd be starting against Boise State and going against a veteran big, and I thought he held his own and did a lot of good things. He still getting a little tired. I think strength and all that will help him. But we're invested long-term in him because he's got great potential, but because he's coachable, he's an awesome kid, cares about the team. But it's amazing just the way the roles have changed. At the beginning of the year, he's on the bench, and everybody notices the great body language and cheering for his teammates. And now he's thrusted into a starting role. So it is what it is. But he'll hit this. This will be really valuable for him this year. And I thought he was really good tonight.
The sense of urgency the last couple of days, coming off of UNLV, K.J. Jenkins making the comment that, he wants guys to hate losing, as much as possible. What have you seen as far as the sense of urgency between UNLV and today, and even on the floor tonight with this team?
Yeah, I think they want to win. I think they see what happens when you lose, right? I mean, the crowds get smaller, the enthusiasm gets. That's what we know what this place can be, and I think certainly a pandemic has a lot to do with a lot of this right now. But we want to play in front of a full pit. We saw it early, but you got to win. It's the bottom line. So we will get there. I can't fault the effort. I thought the practices after UNLV were great. I mean, this team can't play without its head coach right now. We're not. Our program is not where it needs to be in order to operate like that. So, not that I'm the answer to everything, but it's just we kind of need all hands on deck. So they were good. I mean, I was really hard on them after the UNLV game. I didn't like their effort. We haven't been perfect by any means, but nobody's blown us out like that. But just gotta stay positive, keep working. But they've been working. They've been good.
When it comes to making the guys more scrappy, how much of that is on you and your staff, and how much of that is on the players just to put in that scrappiness?
It's all on them. It's not our fault. It's all their fault. No, it's all of us. I mean, there's clearly a reason why they're getting rebounds over us. They're huge, and we're just not huge right now. But I think a lot of it is pushing each other in practice, the right way, and getting stronger and older. Those are old players. We're really, really young. So it takes some time, but they're very, very coachable. Yes, if we're getting out rebounded by that much, it's on the coaches to do a better job of coaching it, and we'll keep doing that.
I guess, styles make fights, matchups change things, but 1 week ago in the pit, Javonte had 12 field goal attempts, scores 23 points, hit 7 3-pointers. He didn't even take a shot tonight. How much of that was you guys not finding Javonte, and how much of that is Javonte not asserting himself?
Probably a little bit of both. Yeah, probably a little bit of both. As what I told the guys after today, I just said, Utah State Javonte made 7 threes. We found him. We're still struggling to find guys, and not us create all the, like obviously House and Mash have their moments where they take bad shots. But who is getting them shots, right? And who's getting Javonte shots? So he should never play a game where he's not shooting. He's a key part. He obviously when he's going, but all the same plays we ran versus Utah State, we ran versus them. So if a guy doesn't shoot, it's on the other 4 guys to find him. And I think that's got to be the mentality for everybody.
There's one other player I want to ask about. That's Terrence Todd. Was there something going on there?
No, nothing he did. It's not an attitude thing. I just that 3 spot I'm struggling with offensively. I was maybe going to go with him in the second half, and I just thought I told Say, I'm like, we got to go KJ. We're not making any shots. So that 3 spot I'm definitely struggling with because Terrence not a great shooter. Saquon's really struggling shooting the ball. So KJ had 20-something points, 26 points versus UNLV. So we gave up some size for sure, but I thought it was our only chance of somewhat cutting into the lead.
Coach, after UNLV and then after today, how do you get your team mentally ready for Colorado State?
Back to work. I think they, I kind of took my time and listened to what they were talking about. They're talking about the right things. So, it's going to be a process. We're playing some really good teams. That's a team who's won 8 games. That's a team who could be an at-large team. So we don't get too high. We don't get too low. We have to get them off tomorrow. It's probably good for them mentally. And back to work, Monday and Tuesday. That's it. Keep it simple.
Coach, with Jalen House, you mentioned yesterday what you need from him. You need him to be, a point guard. You need him to be a quarterback. And so in finding that middle ground between, his capabilities as a scorer and those things, what's that process been like as far as finding that happy medium for you and for him?
Well, I think what he's struggling with is the physicality of the game. He's on the floor a lot, and what he needs to realize is refs who see him play are not going to give him calls because he's initiating contact and then falling down. If he'd stay on his feet and be more physical, I think he'd get more calls. So I think his attitude's great. He's going from a role where he was kind of a background guy at Arizona State. He clearly has talent. He's just got to embrace the physicality of the game a little bit more. And he understands that. He knows it. Because when he's good, he's obviously really good. So he had some, I thought early he was really trying to find guys, a couple turnovers. But I think a lot of that was their size for sure.
Anything else for Coach?
I am happy I'm back. Yeah, it's it does suck to not be there for sure. And these guys, they are fun to coach. It's great to be back in the pit. Definitely better than watching at home. That's we've kind of accepted just guys being gone, and it's just like part of the norm now. And it's we can't operate right like that right now. So yes. Wasn't fun, but I'm happy to be back.
One more quick, Jalen so far. Didn't play in the second half at UNLV. I know there's kind of been questions, certainly visibly. from fans and media about what looks like sometimes attitude, but maybe not. And tonight he played a lot of minutes for you guys.
It's amazing. Clear, I mean, Jay knows it. Doesn't have great body language. Gets frustrated often. I mean, it's very, very obvious. It's not, I'm not throwing him under the bus. He's been so good. You know, it was my call to not play him in the second half for UNLV. Because I just want a guy who has great enthusiasm and great body language, and I think he really saw it. I think he really did, and it's just amazing. The last couple of days, me and him have had some great conversations. He's been totally bought in, and he plays better. It's just, listen, it's not all sunshine and rainbows, but if you just pour yourself into the team and don't worry about anything else, it helps you, it helps the team, and so today was, but the practices leading up to it were really, really good. So I'm not surprised now that he's knocking down threes because the talent's there. He knows it though, he does. He's not one of those, he doesn't see it, he sees it. So hopefully he can build some momentum off it.
He actually, I think, should have had one of Sebastian's offensive rebounds on that free throw, because he tapped it over to Sebastian, so I think one of those should be in.
I don't think it's going to change the outcome. Good? Thank you, guys.
Takeaways from the game, Sebastian, let's just start with that.
Opposite, we know, everybody on the team knows what the problem is and we know what we need to do. And I need to take more responsibility as well, because at the end of the day I can't let a guy have over 10 offensive rebounds, and it's just being tougher than the other opponent, and it's just, obviously, we have our struggles, but I feel like each game we grow in something. Like today I feel like our transition defense was very good, and we grew in that department from when we played against Utah State, where our transition defense was not very good, but he just could run around. So I feel like we made some improvement in some areas of the game, but obviously we need to move forward, and we got a tough schedule coming up with Colorado State and Wyoming, but I feel like in this conference everybody can beat each other.
Obviously, you already kind of addressed it a little bit. The offensive rebounding that they had, in particular, was the big part of this game. But like, you guys were still in it. I know they kind of did you guys some favors by missing so many free throws. But like, is there anything to take away from the fact that you guys are playing yourself, a guy who got here so late that you didn't start practice until the semester had already started? You might have even redshirted this year, had everything gone as planned. And yet, the biggest team in the league, the most experienced team in the league, you guys lose by 8. Can't lose at home, I get all that. But like, you guys actually had a chance for some reason in this game. Is there anything to take away from that?
No, that's what I felt like that after the game. I was like, it's not like we're getting destroyed by all the teams. Like, it's not like we're getting blown out. Of course, the UNLV game was a major step back. But no, I feel like we were there sometimes, and I felt like it's like Utah State is a phenomenal, experienced team. Has been in the tournament. I feel like, and Nevada game as well. Like, we were there all games. It's just, I think because of our age and our size, it's just hard to, like, in the end, finish the product. But now I feel like what you're saying is right. Yeah, you can't, like, of course it's bad losing in this place, which is so historically famous, and it's like almost a shame go walking off the court and feeling like, oh, we could have left so much more on the court than what we did.
And I get there's no making excuses. You guys are supposed to win, right? But at the same time, I guess my question is, like, what's that locker room like right now? Are there people right now in that locker room kind of understanding that you guys are kind of behind the 8 ball when it comes to centers right now, stuff like that, or are you guys pretty pissed off right now?
Of course, we all want to win, and we all know what we need to do to win, and I think we all know what we need to change to win games in this conference. But I feel like we gotta have a next like, for me, I was, like you said, with the red shirt and everything, like I was thrown into the fire almost. But I feel like you go each game, and I feel like because it's our first year, we need to learn from every game we do, and like every game we play. So yeah, now the locker room is just, we gotta like, we know what we need to do, and just getting back to the drawing board and just practicing.
So this is fixable.
Yeah, definitely. I think because it's kind of a toughness part. It's just giving effort, like defense. Like, I felt like especially if I look at an individual standpoint, I've grown in defense because I feel like defense is more of an effort department than a talent department. Like you can practice over and over and over on shooting, but defense is just about getting down in stance and yeah, it's just now we can definitely fix it. And I feel like with this team we got here, I feel like anything is possible, and I just got to step up and we got to have a next man mentality. Everybody.
Sebastian, just with the lack of bigs on this team, how much extra pressure do you put on yourself?
I've been my freshman year in high school. I was kind of thrown into the fire as well with we had a national team big on he played under 20 national team, and he torn his ACL in his last season, so I got kind of thrown into the fire right there as well. But no, of course you push, like come into a new whole style of play, like a new country and everything, and get like thrown in the fire is just. But I feel like, of course I put pressure on myself because I want to succeed and want to move forward with my basketball. But for me, it's more about the winning department. It sucks to lose like this, and I feel like after the game I had against UNLV where I had 5 turnovers, I just wanted like kind of a personal booster for myself, for that team as well. And I think we took a step forward from the UNLV game.
Sebastian, what are some of those specifics? You know, you guys say you know what you need to do, you know kind of what needs to happen. I guess, you know, whether it's basketball-wise or whatever, is what, you know, talk a little bit more about some of those things that you want to see happen.
So I think we all know that toughness is and we're pretty soft team, and I feel like I'm pretty soft as well. Like I haven't played to use my length and finally kind of realizing what I need to do to grow as a player and we can grow as a team. And I feel like if we can have this toughness to us that we win every 50-50 ball, everybody box out, we get the rebound, we push it on it, because we have a fast team. We have a tremendous point guard, Jalen Hollis, who pushes the ball every time. And I mean, if we can get the ball each defensive possession, I feel like we can become a really good team. It's just that toughness that we need to work on. Because I think basketball-wise, we're a good team. Like this is an experienced, long team, like Jeff said. So just us being that close, as young as we are and as small as we are, I feel like the basketball part is not the issue. It's the 28 rebounds to 52 rebounds. That is really the big difference.
Anything else for Mr. Forsling on the court? Questions for KJ?
Anything good to take away from today? You guys were in it. I don't know if you were in it, but you guys made it a lot closer than it could have been.
I mean, there's a lot. We got better a little bit. You know, I wouldn't say grew. You know, but there's things that I saw. You know, on the bench and that you could hear from the crowd. Is just transition defense is just continuing. You know, to play instead of hoping for a miss. You know what I mean? That's something that we just need to keep doing. It's just, you know, not trying to hope. We got too much hope on the line, you know, hoping somebody misses, you know, hoping they turn it over. We have to force all that stuff. We have to be the aggressor, and that's our next step, man.
I know size is obviously, it's no secret. Teams that have size are going to give you guys problems. You guys are, 3 of you guards are 6'2" and shorter, so you play a team like Boise State's one of the tallest teams, average roster height in the whole country. What can you guys do to somehow manage that? Because the rest of the year, they're just going to be putting those bigger wings on you guys and
Right.
make it hard for you guys to get shots off. So what can you guys do the rest of the way to overcome not having size?
You know, like I just said, we as shorter players have to be the aggressor. We have to be more scrappier, and we just have to have a relentless attitude every time we go on the court and just not get pushed over. Because it's very easy. It's so easy to lose this year. I mean, man, we're dropping, and we have every reason in the books just to, you know, blow this season over. But, you know, what I see is a group of guys that just want to win. And to take that, we just have to build this culture and trust the process. Trust what Coach Pitino has going on, trust the staff. And, man, pieces will start. You'll start seeing them fall in place.
There's a lot of frustration, and certainly amongst the crowd at certain points of the second half. Was that frustration on the court with you guys too? Was there any sort of frustration the team had to get over to get back in the game?
Yeah, I feel like I think sometimes we collectively, you know, just pay attention to the refs as much as we think that's the, you know, the problem or the solution is to talk to them and everything's going to change. You know what I mean? So we just have to block out all that, all the noise, everything in the background, and just go out and play for each other.
KJ, what have you noticed about the sense of urgency within the team the last couple of days as, responding to what happened at UNLV and leading up to this game, just the sense of urgency with the team in the last couple of days and even on the floor today?
Like I said, man, this is a group that wants to win. We're all bought into each other. Guys are, we want to see each other succeed, and everyone in this league and every opponent we face, we're all competing for the same thing: a title, to play at the next level, wherever that might be. But it's gonna be tough, but we're gonna stick it out.
Because after UNLV and then after this afternoon, mentally, how do you guys flip that switch and just get ready for your next game?
You just gotta let it go. You gotta show up the next time. Obviously it was hard. Pitino wasn't there, but you gotta learn from that. Show up and just have a positive attitude and continue to work. Like I said, trust the process. Be willing to play for each other, and we just have to show up and be relentless every day. It's hard, but if we collectively have that attitude of just relentless, 50-50 balls, just boxing out. You see it right here. It's tough, for sure, but we're just gonna have to keep pushing.
I'm curious real quick, I know what the rebounding numbers are. A lot of people are gonna look and say, well, who's the center doing all that? Sebastian, though, has 8 rebounds, and
Right.
in a lot of ways, I mean, from my vantage point, I thought he actually had a pretty good game in a lot of ways. That's a really good, skilled big man he went against all game. What do you think about the growth of Sebastian, a guy who might have redshirted this year, had you guys had the centers you thought you would coming into the semester?
Yeah, I mean, I heard the last question, how much pressure he puts on himself. It's tough to get thrown in as a freshman into this league and, try to be great right now. You know what I mean? So it's definitely a process for him. He did convert 8 rebounds today, but when you look down the line, it just drops below 5 everywhere, and we just have to, just be willing to go get that ball. And it's tough though, but that's the next step. We just have to put our heads down, and we got to get dirty.